Well, I found another hiccup in Prime's operation, things for you to consider, and ways to protect yourself against running into the same issue I did. Let's find out what that is right after this.
Everybody get up.
Hey everybody, it's me, Mark Staite, back here talking with little old you. Welcome. Still here in Greensboro, North Carolina. I think we're going to be here for a couple of weeks taking these shots, but we'll work with it. Anyways, found another hiccup here a couple of weeks ago, and it came to load selection. And the easiest way I'll title this is this way. With lease operation, owner operation, there are times with Prime Incorporated where you are not making 72% of the line haul value that the customer paid. Let me say that again. There are certain loads and times when you as a contractor are not paid 72% of the line haul value that was collected by the customer. Let me get into detail on this, how it works and what those situations are and how you can protect yourself when it comes to selecting load. And it's a very rare, it's maybe 1%, 1 to 5% of the time. The situation comes up when you're pulling a load off one of the terminals. It can arise there. It can also arise on a repower. Now, keep in mind, the scenario I'm about to lay out here for you actually happened to me. It was a load that I picked up off the terminal in Springfield, Missouri, and it was going to Miami, Florida. Now, the revenue was fine. You know, for me, when I looked at it and did the math, I'm like, it's a little on the low side. It still paid $1.90 something a mile, if memory serves correct, which is not too bad because this time of the year, at least this year, we know freight's down. The freight rates are down. So $1.90 neighborhood upwards, you know, mid-90s, well, that was pretty decent. Okay, not a problem, I'll run with it. Well, after the settlement came out, you know me, I look at the rate con sheet, at the white sheets, or the billing sheets is what Prime likes to call them. You can find that in your settlement page. I looked at the load, and it come to find out, after all the math was done, a first driver picked it up from Nebraska, brought it to Springfield, where I picked it up off the terminal and took it to Florida. But when I did the math, there's about $350, $360 missing out of the equation. I'm going, where in the world does this money go? And after talking with my fleet manager and talking with Jason Seymour, one of the operations managers with Prime, it all made sense. What had happened, the first driver that picked up the load in Grand Island, Nebraska, was paid deadhead mileage. He was a company driver who they deadheaded out of Cheyenne, Wyoming to Grand Island, Nebraska. I don't know, 300 some odd plus miles on that little trip for him to deadhead over there. Well, they paid that driver, that first driver, about $360 to deadhead. So the way the math works out now, when Prime collects the money from the customer, they do the math as normal. 72% for this side of the fence, and then the company gets 28%. But here's the thing, the company doesn't pay company drivers the deadhead out of the company side of the money. They took it out of the driver's side of the money. Okay? So think about that. Total amount paid by the customer, company driver deadheaded, well, total money, 72% for the driver's side, 28% for the company side. We're going to take that out of driver's side to pay for the deadhead. That simple step all by itself guarantees that the driver's side is no longer 72% of the value the customer paid. Why? Because that first money paid for deadhead mileage. Bottom line, when you're picking a load up off the yard or doing on a repower, here's a new question to ask dispatch and or the driver you're talking with. Here's the question to ask to help protect yourself. If the dollar amount seems a bit low and you're trying to, you just got the dispatch, it's like, miles versus dollars seems a bit low considering, you know, what historically happens with this, ask this question. Was the first driver paid deadhead mileage to go get the load in the first place? If the answer comes back yes, that load is not going to pay you 72% of the value collected from the customer. It's that simple. Now, talking with Jason, the operations manager, I brought that up that, hey, wait a minute, our contract reads we're paid 72% of the line haul value collected from the customer. And he counters with, well, that was paid out to drivers, just not you as the second driver. It was paid out to the first guy. So you can imagine the song and dance he and I went around with on that one. And we ultimately agreed to disagree. Okay, lesson learned, Mark. There's another layer of the trucking industry game that the big companies like to play. That's how they get to be big companies. Yeah, I'm still rookie. Yeah, I'm still learning. Well, there's my lesson and I'm sharing it with you. When picking a load up off a terminal or doing a repower, ask the question, was the first driver paid deadhead mileage to go get the load in the first place? If it was, then take a second look at the revenue and judge for yourself whether or not that's enough money, in your opinion, for you to pull a load with your truck. Well, for me, $1,900, just a hair under $2,000 from Springfield to Miami, for me, yeah. That was still a good enough number, even though it's $360 short. It would have been nice to be able to fight for that and get that money back, but it's not happening. But you can guarantee next time I top into driver lineup, I'm going to ask that question on those split driver loads. Was deadhead mileage paid? I'll take a second look at the number on that one. That does it for me. That's all I got for this week. I'll see you guys in the future. That does it for me. And I'll see you guys next time. Let's get the hell out of here.